Hello, everyone. So, my paper on an international law issue or problem was on international adoption, specifically why international adoption is rapidly declining. And this presentation is by Ashley Altman, which is me. So, the first issue I would like to address is what is international adoption? International adoption is where a couple or an individual would like to adopt a child from a different state that they are not in. For my paper, I specifically focused on the United States policies, meaning how United States citizens can adopt internationally from a foreign state. There are many requirements of paperwork that you need to fill so that you are able to internationally adopt a child. Before you adopt, you need to look for certain things, such as the policies of the United States, the policy of the foreign state you are wishing to adopt from, and other details that come into play. In the United States, there are currently 3 ways that individuals are able to adopt internationally. The problem or issue with international adoptions is that they are rapidly declining. Since 2004, there has been an 80% drop in international adoption rates in the US. There are 3 main reasons that I want to focus on why I believe that these international adoptions are declining. The first is political influences, the second is organization requirements, and the third are state requirements. The first reason why international adoptions have been declining are because of political influences. In the recent years, countries such as Ethiopia, South Korea, China, Romania, and Russia have all cut back or banned international adoptions from the US. When these state actors are asked why they have cut back or banned international adoptions from the US, they usually claim it is because of the abuse and neglect rates on internationally adopted children in the US. However, if you look at the statistics and the researches conducted, you can see that the abuse and neglect rates for internationally adopted children in the US is very low. So, what could be the real reason? One example that I would like to focus on is Russia. Russia ended international adoptions just 2 weeks after the 2012 U.S. Magnitsky Act, which imposed sanctions on allegedly corrupt officials in Russia. I believe that this is the real reason why Russia ended U.S. adoptions. They took this amazing opportunity away from the US because the US got involved in their politics. So, how could this impact the future? If state actors continue to change their international adoption policies based on their political gains and losses, international adoption rates will continue to decline. So, what can we do to change this? I believe that there should be an agreement where state actors cannot deny international adoptions from the U.S. unless there is a war, a pandemic, or something else like that going on. The second reason why international adoption rates have declined over the recent years are because of agreement and organization requirements put onto state actors. I am specifically referring to the Hague Adoption Convention and the United Nations Children's Fund. The purpose for their requirements are to ensure the safety of the children and make sure that there is no child trafficking or child crimes going on. But the actual effects of these requirements on international adoption have been very negative. Efforts aimed at improving the lives of orphan children in some of the poorest countries in the world have had the unintended consequence of making them worse by preventing their adoption into loving homes in other nations. These organizations are putting impossible requirements on state actors, making it very hard to internationally adopt or live up to the standards of these organizations. So, how could this impact the future? With these harsh requirements piling up, it is making state actors more reluctant into continuing their international adoption programs. This will also cause international adoptions to continue to decline. So, how could we change this? I believe that these organizations should not put these harsh restrictions onto state actors that have acted in good faith in the past. If a state actor has consecutively showed their good morals with their international adoption program, I believe that these organizations should not be able to put these harsh restrictions onto them. The third and last reason why international adoptions have declined are because of state requirements. One requirement in particular that I would like to talk about is the naive policy. This policy believes that children belong in the state that they were born into. The policy also explains that children should only be domestically adopted from inside their own state. One example of this would be Uganda. Uganda has put in a 1-year residency requirement for international adoption. This means that if you would like to adopt a child from Uganda, you would have to have lived there for at least 1 year before you can do so. This makes it almost impossible to be able to adopt a child from Uganda because many parents cannot do that. So, how could this impact the future? Because of these strict state requirements, many parents are not willing or able to meet up to these standards. So this decreases international adoption availability by a ton. So, what could we do to change this? I believe that if an individual or parents cannot reside in a current state that is not their own for over a year, then they should only have to do more paperwork. There should be an option to still be able to adopt without having to complete the residency. It would be a lot more extensive, but at least it would be better than having to live in Uganda or another state for a whole year before you could internationally adopt a child from there. So, why is international adoption relevant and relevant to you? First, I want you to think about your future. I know one day that I would love to internationally adopt a child, and I know many other people who would like to do the same as well. So this topic is very important for those who would like to adopt. Also, think about your family and friends' future. Even if you yourself would not like to internationally adopt, your family or friends maybe would. Knowing this information could help them out in any way possible. Also, think about the future of the United States. Many couples or individuals are not able to biologically have their own child. So this gives them an amazing opportunity to help a child in need in another country and give them a loving family. And this is the end of my PowerPoint. I hope all of you enjoyed. Thank you.